You sounded less like Seth Rollins and more like Drew McIntyre.
Seth Rollins shows off brutal war wound following CM Punk showdown. As you may know, Seth Rollins hates CM Punk. The very existence of the best in the world in WWE is stuck in his craw. However, what appears to be the first of many opportunities Rollins got against Punk, he could not put the latter away. In the main event of WWE Raw last Monday, CM Punk emphatically defeated Seth Rollins, clean as a whistle. The former AEW World Champion gave the Visionary an underhanded compliment post-show, where he ridiculed the character of the former World Heavyweight Champion, but credited what was brought to the table in recent weeks. It remains to be seen where things go from here. Taking to Instagram, the Visionary shared a post on his wrestling school page, Black and Brave Wrestling. In the picture, Rollins is spotted with a black eye. The rivalry between Seth and Punk has more to do with the former's utter disdain for the 46-year-old. On the contrary, the veteran couldn't care less about their issues. Seth Rollins hit CM Punk with a GTS, the best in the world response. During the main event, Seth Rollins took the opportunity at one point and hit CM Punk's finisher, the go to sleep. But it was not enough to put him away. The voice of the voiceless returned the favor and hit the curb stomp on Rollins. Eventually, he picked up the win by hitting the GTS twice. Backdash to dash back. CM Punk noted in the post-show press conference that he probably has to change his finisher now because he has finally realized what it is like to be on the receiving end of it. I don't see Seth just ruining over and giving up. I hope he sleeps horribly tonight, and he is plagued with nightmares of me driving my knee into his face. By the way, I might have to change my finish because I have such guilt for hitting people with GTSs for years and years now. I've never been hit with one except for tonight, and that really yes *** kid. Punk shared his honest thoughts on his rivalry with Rollins. He hopes to move on to bigger and better things. But the best in the world wondered whether he would have to look over his shoulder. CM Punk vs. Seth Rollins. This WWE feud cannot end on Raw's Netflix premiere. CM Punk and Seth Rollins finally clashed in their long-awaited match, following years' worth of hatred and animosity that blurred the lines and, for a long time, was very real. The pair headlined WWE's debut on Netflix in a match won by CM Punk. For now, it seems as though this rivalry has been settled. However, despite reports suggesting otherwise, this rivalry needs to continue, as their match on Raw was not the type of conclusion that this feud years in the making deserved. There are several reasons as to why this feud needs to continue and cannot just end on our AEW. It was believed for a long time that CM Punk and Seth Rollins would finally face off at WrestleMania 41, but instead it was announced that they would do battle at Raw's Netflix premiere. Although it seemed like this could be the start of a series that would then culminate at WrestleMania, this no longer appears to be the case. Punk's win was clean and definitive, and there are various reports that suggest that they will each be doing different things at WrestleMania 41. For instance, Fightful Select has reported that WWE are in heavy discussions to host CM Punk vs. Roman Reigns on the grandest stage of them all, with this coming after their alliance at Survivor Series 2024 did huge numbers on WWE's social media. Additionally, Ibu of WrestlePurist has stated that the running plan is for Gunther to defend his World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 41 against Seth Rollins, with it also being rumored that John Cena will challenge Cody Rhodes. All these various reports seem to fall in line with one another. It means that Punk vs. Rollins will not be on the WrestleMania card, with Raw marking the end of their feud for now at least. This is the incorrect call. When it comes to WrestleMania, it is always nice to see the payoff to long-term stories. WrestleMania 40 last year featured the culmination of a 2-year journey between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, the payoff to months of storytelling between Bayley and Io Sky, and the same can be said for Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre too. Heading into this year's show, the current landscape of WWE's weekly TV does not suggest that we will see many, if any, long-term feuds getting paid off. This feels like a waste, and WrestleMania will be sorely missing some intense storylines and long-term feuds if the build-up to every match gets rushed through in the next few months. CM Punk and Seth Rollins were the exception to WWE's lack of long-term stories for WrestleMania, but that has now been abandoned. It isn't too late for WWE to change its path ahead of WrestleMania 41. as the audience has been heavily invested in CM Punk versus Seth Rollins for years before Punk even returned to the company. They have been teasing going at it ever since Punk came back, but in recent weeks things have felt rushed ahead of their clash on Raw. This is a WrestleMania-worthy match, given the length of their story. And finishing things up so soon feels underwhelming. The CM Punk versus Seth Rollins had a pretty decent encounter on Raw's Netflix premiere, but it is safe to say that fans were left expecting more. Some of the action was pretty lethargic. There wasn't a lot of storytelling or structure in the match itself, and the finish didn't lead to anyone seeing a reason for a rematch. In many ways, the less than enthusiastic action made it feel like they were setting up for a better match down the line, although nothing in the results suggested that this was the case. Regardless, Punk and Rollins are capable of having a better match with a stronger story, and fans want to see that happen. If WWE ends this feud on Raw and now heads in a different direction, it will make a mess of what should be a multi-match series between these two that culminates in a major blow-off at WrestleMania 41 or elsewhere, whether that be in a last man standing match, Hell in a Cell, or something else. This is a match worthy of a WrestleMania main event with the right build, and abandoning it so soon would be a major error on WWE's part. CM Punk's defeat of Seth Rollins on Raw's Netflix debut hit a controversial callback that was secretly genius. The WWE just had its Raw on Netflix debut, and it was noteworthy for many reasons. Its groundbreaking presentation, incredible cinematography, and riveting storylines marked a huge step forward for the promotion. The organization made a statement, not just on a historical level, but on an entertainment and pop culture one as well. With appearances by The Rock, The Undertaker, Hulk Hogan, and other legends, as well as the showdown between Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. The inaugural episode was loaded with twists, turns, and surprises. But perhaps the most anticipated moment of the night was the main event battle between Seth Rollins and CM Punk. It was a war of words that led up to this point. Rollins portrays himself as a wrestler who stayed with WWE through thick and thin, while Punk fled the company for years. The two men have a long history together in pro wrestling, both in and out of the ring. So, it only made sense that the Second City Saint would counter Rollins' remarks with a few history lessons, which extended all the way to the match's ending. As many wrestling fans know, Punk unceremoniously exited the company right after the 2014 Royal Rumble. He would later appear on a podcast where he ripped into WWE management, then tried to be